This time I want to give you a little update about my 27mm Fujifilm lens. If you watched my other videos, you might know that I had both TT Artisan and the first version of the Fujifilm 27mm lenses. The TT Artisan lens was great overall, but I didn't like vignetting because it made my pictures look more vintage than I wanted, so I sold it. But if vignetting doesn't bother you, especially since you can fix it later in editing, I still think it's a great budget-friendly 27mm lens. By the way, you can watch a comparison of both lenses on my channel. I decided to stick with the Fujifilm XF27mm lens, but then I saw someone selling the second version of it for about the same price as the first version. So I made the small upgrade at almost no extra cost. In the past I said it wasn't necessary to get the second version of Fujifilm 27mm lens, but now I've changed my mind and I'll explain why. First of all, both 27mm Fujifilm lenses are the same when it comes to how they perform. If you're interested, you can find a full review video of first version of the 27mm lens on my channel. The main difference between them are the second version has weather resistance and aperture ring. When it comes to weather resistance, I think it's a nice bonus, but not a must-have for me, since I use the Fujifilm XS20, which doesn't have weather resistance. So I'm careful with my camera in tough conditions anyway. But if you have a Fujifilm camera like the X-T4 or X-T5 which does have weather resistance, then having it in the lens will definitely be helpful. Even though not everyone shoots in rough conditions, it's still a good feature to have just in case. One great thing about weather resistant lenses is that they don't collect dust. With the first version of the 27mm lens, I've noticed a few dust particles got inside over time. The second feature in the newer version of the Fujifilm 27mm lens is the aperture ring. For me, the aperture ring isn't that useful because I hardly ever use it, but there is one thing about it: it looks great. When you compare both versions of the lens, the second one looks so much better. In pictures the difference isn't huge, but in person it's really noticeable. The first version looks kind of boring and flat compared to the second one. The aperture ring adds a lot of style to the lens, and if you do use it, it has a very satisfying click and the lock mechanism works really well too. I made a video before where I talked about photographers' personalities based on the focal length they use. In that video I mentioned that some people care about how their camera look, and I'm not ashamed to say I'm one of those people. I enjoy having gear that looks stylish. Good looking gear just inspires me more. Of course, the camera also has to perform well, otherwise I could just walk around with a vintage film camera looking cool but never taking any pictures. That would be a little too much for me. I want to shoot with a good camera, and if it looks good too, that's a bonus for me. To sum up this update on my XF27mm lens, if you can, definitely go for the second version of the Fujifilm XF27mm lens. It looks much better and comes with two extra features. Plus, it even comes with a small hood in the box, which I think you didn't get with the first version. You had to buy it separately. Both versions are the same when it comes to image quality, and if you want to see a full review, you can find it on my channel. Let me know in the comments what your latest photography upgrade was. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. But for now, have a nice day and keep shooting.